Chris Judd has a question for you. She says, given the dominant attitude in wrestling that women are supposed to look pretty and pull hair, how do you respond to that? And I mean, I know how you respond to it in the ring, but she wants your response to it on the air.
You know, I feel like that's a really hard question. It's just in a sense that I feel like wrestling's evolved to the point where there are different kind of women that can succeed. It's not just a cookie cutter, like, blonde Barbie at this point. I feel like, yeah, let's say when you're working for like a WWE, a TNA, or any company in general where you're, you know, a big part of that company, you still represent them. And if you even just look at like Dragon Gate or Evolve, like, I mean, I'm going to include myself in this right now, but like, I have a certain look. Christina Vanieri has a completely certain look, but she completely owns that look. I think Christina is a beautiful, beautiful woman, but she carries herself with such like confidence, and she's just who she is, and that's a kind of beauty. And I feel like there's just so many different kinds of beauty that I mean, I'm obviously never going to be the skinny blonde, you know, blue-eyed blonde. That's never going to be me, but I feel like I bring something different, and that's where like my beauty, quote unquote, would come into play. I have no idea if that answered your question. I am so sorry.
No, that's okay. I think you answered Chris's question from the chat room quite well. And speaking of the chat room, here's a surprising question. One of your competitors is in there right now. Missy Sampson wants to know if you were disappointed when she found out that you drew her in the second round of the women's title tournament for BLOW.
The only reason I would say that maybe, yeah, I was disappointed is because I don't like beating up my friends. And I feel like I love Missy to death, and I've known Missy for so long that I don't want to beat my friends up, but I'm sorry, Missy, I'm going to have to.
Yeah, well, there's no friendship when it comes to winning a tournament. We've seen that in mixed martial arts as well, where sometimes people from the same promotion, same group that train together, they have to end up fighting each other. Are you a fan of mixed martial arts?
You know, I never really got into it. Like, if we're all, after a show, we're hanging out, and it's on TV, I'll watch it. And, you know, occasionally I would flip through, like, UFC and stuff like that. And my sister was actually practicing, like, jiu-jitsu and a couple different martial arts. So it's something that I've always thought was very cool. It's just never something I would do. I don't see myself being able to, like, I just wouldn't be able to handle it. Like, I don't know. It's too real for me. And sometimes just watching, like, I've watched, a couple of the fights and stuff, and it's just crazy. Like, I'm like, oh my God, he just, like, dislocated that dude's arm, and he's still trying to, like, beat him up. Like, it's just a little much for me. But there's so many cool, like, Sumi does MMA, which I think is awesome, and so, like, somebody like that I would totally go and support. And I have a couple of friends that do it as well that I would totally go and support, but I wouldn't really say I'd go out of my way to watch, and I wouldn't say, like, oh, yeah, I'm a total avid fan.
Yeah, I understand that. And I also bring it up because one of the divas that I'm really into right now in World Wrestling Entertainment is Torres, and we know that she's like a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and you see her bring that out in her matches. She'll do arm locks and knee bars and all sorts of submission-type holds in her matches, so it's fun to watch.
I think Eve is a great example of, like, somebody who is so beautiful. Like, arguably one of the most beautiful divas right now in WWE, but just, like, she does MMA, she does this, she does that, she does the training, she does, self-defense. Like, she does all these really cool things that you wouldn't exactly expect of, if you saw this girl walking in the street in her high heels and little skirt, not something you would expect. And then, you try going up to her, she rips your arm from your sock, and you're like, oh, okay. So, yeah, definitely somebody I definitely have a lot of respect for.
Well, I think it just goes without saying that you never underestimate who you're in the ring with, and I wouldn't underestimate you or Eve Torres and your ability to kick a little booty around that ring. In fact, Missy Sampson says it's okay if you guys kick each other's booties because you can still cuddle after the match is over.
Oh, of course. And we'll have a million great stories to tell after as well.
Yep. And speaking of great stories, one of our chat room questions is something I've been dying to ask you about because Chris WWFU says, when are you wrestling the Boy Diva Rick for the NYWC Starlet Championship?
Aw, I love Chris. He's one of the guys I love to pick on at NYWC. I have no idea when my shot is coming up. I will be at the next show. I'll be at Shine in Florida. And then beyond that, I believe it's maybe the Cycle Circus coming up. So I don't know when I'll get my shot, but I can guarantee you that once I get back from Florida, I'm definitely going for that title.
Awesome. Now, can you explain a little bit to our listeners who haven't seen the Boy Diva what exactly he or she is? Because I've been trying to figure that out for a while myself.
I don't even know if you can describe what the Boy Diva is. Rick Cataldo is probably one of the most unique individuals in professional wrestling, both male, female, everything in between. Rick is somebody that I really respect and somebody that I love a lot because he's one of the people that, from the beginning, before I even started wrestling, when I was just a manager and I was valeting, he was like, girl, get some money together, come down to the school. I'd love to teach you a couple things. The first bump I ever took was actually from Rick. Before I was even trained, I was just managing, and he, pushed me, and I took a butt bump. It was awesome. And he's somebody that I've had some really cool matches with, and somebody that I think is just, he's able to tell such a good story, and he's always, Rick's been in wrestling since he was 14 years old. It's something ridiculous. Rick's been in wrestling for maybe 10 years already, and he's a baby. But he's somebody that has so much knowledge and loves wrestling. He just has so much passion. And he's just somebody that I really, you have to see to believe him. It's something you can't really explain. You kind of just have to see.
I agree. You're going to have to look up the Boy Diva on YouTube if you're listening right now and you've never seen him or her before. You're going to have to watch her matches with Marti Belle, and there's something special.
I actually have a match on my YouTube, myself and Rick, from NYWC, so...
All right, well then everybody
check that out.
Yeah, check out her YouTube channel. I believe it's youtube.com/themartibelle, right?
That's it.
All right, well I'm going to turn it over to Sierra, so she's got a few questions. Sierra, go ahead.
You and Tina San Antonio used to be each other's opponents in Johnny Rod's World of Unpredictable Wrestling. On March 6, 2010, the both of you debuted as a tag team at WSU's 3rd anniversary iPay-per-view. You guys took on the team of Lexus and Amber, the Boston Shore. How did the Belle Saints come about? How did you guys start teaming together?
Well, Tina was my first match, and then she was also my second match. She was my first match was a 3-way. It's actually coming up November 9th. That was my first match 3 years ago. And it was her and this other girl who doesn't wrestle anymore. But then the next month, I wrestled her as well. And there came a month, I guess it was maybe January, something like that, where we just got thrown together just to team up. And we had weird chemistry where it was okay, all right, this can work. And then Rick Cataldo actually told us that, he was going to talk to, Sean Mick, who used to run WSU, about us. And, they said that they were looking for tag teams. And, if the two of us would be willing to work together, we're yeah, for sure. Why not? And I think it kind of just worked. It was very, it didn't take us, it wasn't we had to train together every day we've been training together for so much, and we just kind of knew each other and could read each other. There came a point where even once we weren't together and we would wrestle each other, or even we would be at a random show having, a singles match, and we'd go for our tag team moves without even saying a word to each other. And it was kind of freaky where it's okay, this seems to really work. And fans just really seem to like it as well. I think me and Tina are such complete polar opposites that it just gave everybody something to like in our team. And I feel that's part of the reason why the Belle Saints actually were able to, move up in WSU and eventually capture gold.
Yeah, I was wondering, I was because I've seen some of your guys' matches prior to you guys debuting, and WSU, and I was like, when did they start tag teaming together? And I think a question that's on a lot of people's minds, given that you guys have gone through so much where you split and you had the grudge match and all these matches back and forth, will we ever see the Bell Saints reunite and take out the Midwest Militia?
It's funny because we get asked that a lot. I mean, I know I do, and I'm sure she does. And it's the kind of thing where never say never, because in wrestling, anything can happen. Like, you know, right now I'm having I'm having so much fun. I love my singles run, and I'm sure she does as well, beating up Brittany Savage. But who knows if, maybe come a month or two, I'll be tired of just having singles gold, and I'll be ready for some more gold,